So guys, listen, thanks for hanging out with us today. Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. That dude over there next to me, the great Jeff Jacklich, co-founder of goldballhunting.com, still alive and well. Some people question, say, well, what are you guys doing? I just say, what? We got a little thing going on. We're not sure. Well, we're sort of sure, but it's a little tease, but something's coming.
Something's coming.
Yeah.
Ruminating.
That's right. That had a little, anyway. So not going to do it. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. And what we're going to do today is look at a point from this is about 3 years ago or so. Jeff, you on the chat, can you monitor the chat?
Yep.
Why don't you do that as I kind of tee up the point here. This point's from about 3 years ago, and I did another point with Phil Landauer, Jeff, I would say a week to 10 days ago from this same match. This is the Racket Club of Irvine. This was the 65 hard courts. Paul Wolf and Len Wofford on this side. Yours truly with the serve, and my partner, Chris Morgan. And actually, the point that we did, Jeff, a couple weeks ago, I was actually serving to Paul as I'm doing here. Came in, Paul hit a nice cross-court return, and I kind of half volleyed the thing, fortunately short. Now, it wasn't my intention, but it ended up short. Paul had to come in, and Chris just held his ground. And right when Paul decided, well, Chris is not moving, what does Chris do? He takes off, and just the full extension commitment. Not the full extension, I'm going to get there and maybe touch it. No, I'm going to get there and everything's over with. And it was just a great move. All right, so what do you want to do with this? Do you want me to play the whole point first? Do you want me to go through each stroke?
I think you got to play the whole thing through first,
and then kind of come back and
then let's circle back, because I made some notes here at the front of the point, and that are, I think, kind of key.
All right.
He called that out?
That was sort of a shaky call. That's all right. Yeah.
Boom.
Wow, a lot going on with that point.
A lot going on there.
Yeah.
A lot going on and not a lot going on. I'll get back to that.
Okay. That's good. All right, so miss first serve. And, my strategy generally with the second serve is to try to get the ball up. I don't have a hard enough second serve, or a big enough kicker that it really does anything. So my whole thing is, can I get the thing up a little bit so that it buys me time to kind of move on in?
Right.
And that's really about it. And I think on this thing, I think that on this second serve that Paul waited just long enough that he decided that, and of course, maybe he'd rip so many over here, put me in trouble. He said, I'm going to give you a little mercy on you, Brent. And I'm going to play this as a lob.
Yeah. So, my first comment is that look where go back there and just show where the ball hits the court. So I think this is critical here. So he plays it up over Chris's left side, his backhand side.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just kind of plunks it in there. He knows it's not going to be a winner. You know what I mean? I mean, he's playing this ball.
It's an approach shot.
It's an approach. And you can see it's square in the middle of the back half of the court. So there's a great margin there. And now he's created opportunity for his team. Okay. So, and then stop it right when you put your racket on the ball, Brenny. Boom. Okay. Right there. So if you look at Chris, your partner, he has his head, he's looking at you. he already knows what's going on behind him. He doesn't need to look to see that obviously they're probably coming in and taking an offensive position. So he's looking at you. And I love the fact that Chris commits to getting all the way back in the court with you as his first adjustment in new position. He doesn't question what's going on, or maybe I should do this, maybe. He just turns tail and he goes, I'm going to head back and now go ahead and hit your ball. And so he sees how high you've hit the ball. He knows he's got time.
Right. He's not even turned around yet.
Not even turned around yet. Ball's in the air. He knows he's got time. Lenny's starting to backpedal. Now Chris turns around and he sees he continues to finish his position to really see what's going on. Now he sees that Lenny's got back up. Like you've just hit a great lob.
So let's go back to the lob for a second. And let me kind of tell you my thinking on this is, and I think a lot of players want to do too much with this lob. And, my whole thought here is that the best I can do, because they're going to get whatever there's no way I'm going to go over there and try to get a little Eastern grip, try to roll it, pop it over in here. There's no way. And if I try that and you're my partner, just go, Brenny, we're done. Just go put your racket in the bag and just walk off.
Right.
Which,
plus, here's the other thing. You're playing two experienced players here, right? Two experienced senior players. So neither one of them overcloses to give you even the thought that should be a good play, to try and hit an offensive lob off your position, right? They already know that. So
I am thinking a little stroke technique here, because my whole thing is, I'm going to play as high and defensive a lob as possible. So I'm thinking, how can I align myself to the ball, and where do I want to take it so that I can have a little bit of carry, right? I want to feel like I've got a little bit of carry. It's not a flick, but it's really a flat. It's not an underspin lob. It's not a topper. It's as flat as a pancake, and I'm trying to hold on to it.
Great follow through though. Look at this.
Trying to get some finish to it and just get height. And I'm hedging my bet that even if it lands, let's say, in here.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to take this on the fly, because it's coming straight down.
Yeah.
Like a lead balloon coming straight down.
Right.
It's really a tough angle. So my first thought is, let me wait for the ball to get into a position here so that technique-wise I can do what I want to do. I'm not going to rush it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And look, I've probably never hit a better defensive lob in my life.
It's great. So it is. It's excellent. I think Major Dan makes a comment here, dangerous backpedaling by Lenny. Shouldn't he use crossovers? I think in a perfect world, Dan, yes. But if you look at the angle that the ball is coming in on, Lenny's trying to get around to hit a forehand. And I think it's literally that lob is coming over his original position. It's coming over his backhand side. And he knows he's got to get back and he's got to get around. So I think it's a little awkward initially for Lenny to figure out, this ball's burnt. This ball is.
Look, Len Wofford, one of the best singles and doubles players in his age group, year after year after year in the world, not just in Northern California. So look, this guy knows how to backpedal, but for the rest of us, I think it's a smart play to either turn. He could have turned and be facing the camera and run backwards, and that would have been a much safer play. But
I think the height, you got on the ball there. That ball's burning up on re-entry. And so there's a lot of time there that, he's looking at kind of like the ball's carrying, it's floating. Trying to corral position on it. So,
and there's usually a little wind this time of day.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to corral it. But I want you to look, and I see this too often, a good defensive lob, and these guys stay back. So we've already decided, look, he's not going to play it on the fly. So that means we've got time.
Yeah.
And we're starting to move in. That thing is
And I
up
and
there,
I
man.
and I like the play too that neither you nor Chris, your partner, over close. I
Well,
mean,
what's he going to do from here? Now,
right.
Chris does end up with a very tricky
Lenny
volley.
makes a great shot,
Yeah.
without a doubt here. Um, Without a doubt, you know. But Lenny's not even on the screen right now.
Well, and so the question becomes, well, why didn't he lob this? And I think that the lob and the wind might have carried the bounce to where if he'd waited to lob it, it might have hit the back fence.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
at some point you
Yeah.
got to reach up and just try to and
Right.
you know what? He ends up playing a nasty shot to Chris.
Yeah.
And
And Chris does a great job of not going nutty here. He just dumps it back in the court. Okay, we're gonna have to regroup, kind of, you know.
right, we sort of had,
But the
but
the beauty here is that Lenny is so far off the court that even though it looks like it's a sitter, he still has to rearrange himself to get back into the court. So he really can't stick the ball here.
so let's back this up because I think a lot of like if we'd said, all right, Chris is going to play a half volley, guys. Let's say that we stop it right here. What's the right shot? Jeff, how many players would have said just dink it right here?
A pretty good percentage.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
it's definitely a possibility, but baby, you better, it's a higher risk. And I think that it's almost like, look, Chris and I have already got really good court position. So if we're going to go for the highlight reel, little soft hand, backhand, half volley, little dumper in here. And if you don't hit it perfect, well, Paul's starting to move in that direction.
Paul's
anyway.
already on the move. He's already looking.
He's probably thinking that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And if you don't execute it perfectly, what I'm saying is you've given up great court position by trying to go for the highlight shot. So
yeah,
I really do like Chris's just bunt.
Dump it back. Yeah.
Bunt. Okay. So
right.
Len Wofford typically here just rips this forehand right up the middle. And it is, I mean, it's nasty. It's just nasty. It's just mean. He's just got this strength about him. And from a very short setup, just comes into it. And the thing has this top and it gets down. And so for me, I'm kind of closing maybe more than I normally would, looking for it.
Right.
And dang, if he doesn't go for the lob.
Yeah. Now let's hold up here a second. So I want to make this comment too. And this is Lenny's partner, Paul. I feel he's the weak link in this play, the entire play, because he makes micro adjustments, but never makes a full move to get to a place or out of a place. So in this whole thing, he kind of stays in this mid-court position, and I feel that he kind of ends up being the weak link in this whole thing by the end of the point.
Okay.
By not taking a full position, you know. So we'll get to that as we get farther down the road here.
Okay. All right. So pretty good lob, right?
Yeah. Look at that athleticism.
Well, let's see. I'm looking at the space between my foot and the court. I don't see a lot of space there, Jeff.
That's a solid 2-inch vertical.
Words never spoken before. Anyway, look, I want to say a little bit something about technique here on the overhead. As I'm going back, obviously just trying to make sure that it doesn't get by me, number one, but I'm pretty well stretched out. And for me, when I get stretched out on the overhead, I try to see how loose can I keep my fingers in my hand, because I want that looseness to bring the racket through. I don't want to have to reach up, straight arm, and pull it. I just want to let the racket get and if you get too strong in the grip, at least for me, And in real time, this actually ends up being a pretty good overhead where it does stretch
Yeah.
Lenny out. And now Chris closes Len with another good lob. And this, I think, is sort of the worst choice of the match. I mean, of the point.
Yeah.
And I see that you quickly agreed with me on that. Thank you.
I think there's two bad choices here. One, your shot selection, and two, Paul not getting back, getting out of the position he's in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and look, I'm not that far behind the service line, right?
Yeah.
So if he had decided, well, I'm going to actually move in rather than back up, that probably would have been a better play for him, I think, is to move in because he's got great hands. And from that position, am I just going to scald the forehand volley? Probably not. But I end up, I think, playing a pretty risky shot, trying to ESPN it into the alley. Obviously, don't get it there, but fortunately get it down to his feet. And he just shoves it up the line, and I'm lucky. He doesn't stretch me out more.
Right.
But still got to play a little tricky backhand half volley. And now we still kept Len back. I mean, the whole thing is we've kept him back the whole time. And again, this is another time, and he actually does rip this one, I believe, as he's leaning back. He's tired of lobbing. He's not the big lob guy.
Right.
He's just a strong country boy, strong as they say. And he just rips this thing, right? And kind of handcuffs Chris.
Yeah.
Chris just kind of fights it off, gets it back. We still have good court position, and there's no way he's lobbing. And he's going up the middle. Here he comes. He gets a little bit on me. I'm kind of ready for it, and now he's caught in a tough position.
Right.
And it's an easy
enter Chris.
Enter Chris Morgan with what he typically does with any ball up there, which is bouncing it over the fence. I mean, you could set it up on a platter for me. I can't bounce it over the fence. I don't know.
Right. Well, he's one of those construction guys. You know, he's got the built-in muscle.
Yeah, that's right. So look, guys, let me let's go back. We're going to play this point in real time again for you. But I want you, any questions, any comments, go ahead and start loading them up. And let's kind of take a look at this one more time, Jeff.
Yeah.
In real time. Guess I've lost the volume somehow. Where's the volume? Oh, here we go.
Air Abel, as Dan says, Major Dan says, Air Abel.
That's very funny, guys. Really great. That's really great. Really great. Boom. Okay.
So I made a couple more notes there, like at the end of that. So one is, I think, in my opinion, I think when Lenny hit that second lob, that you had the forehand on, the deeper forehand, I thought Paul by then should have made a complete retreat. And I think then they could have made a better defensive stance and possibly then flip the point from there.
Okay, now which shot are you talking about?
So you make this flip right here.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's a shot before that. When your high forehand that you hit the Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So because you hit the overhead and Lenny had the lob again. So I kind of feel like on that lob, Paul should have made a complete retreat to be in a full defensive position with Lenny to mount an attack then maybe flip the point back in their favor. So that's where I feel like that's where I say Paul kind of tried to maintain offense, and I think ultimately it didn't work out. The other thing is I think the last two balls that Lenny hit, because he is such a strong guy, I think it's also one of those situations where he's up in the court and it's like he hits this linear ball, these two hard linear balls in a row, but you guys have court position. So it's kind of like getting the ball to you guys too fast for his position in the court.
Yeah. See, like on this ball here, I don't have his forehand. So what I think I probably would have done is maybe played a little slice, chippy, slow, low in here, maybe a
Right.
little bit in here, and played as an approach shot, as opposed to ripping it.
Right.
Because
I
right
think he
there's
could have done the same. And instead of going for the angle, he could have done it right up the center court as well.
right.
Just a nothing ball, a little slider up the center to get you guys down in the dirt a little bit. Then Paul's position makes sense
Yeah. Yeah.
in that. But again, it's
So
one of those. And there's some I've talked about before. Is like, are you getting the ball to your opponent too fast, based on the position you're in?
yeah.
And I think that's where the subtlety of playing a softer shot becomes much more critical than like, let me just see if I can blast my way out of this, this painful situation. Yeah.
Well, and it works sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I've got the Q&A function turned on. Mark Wagner, Wags, what's going on, man? Thanks for being with us today. Mark's actually utilizing the Q&A function, and he's asking who won the match. These guys won it. I think it was 3 and 4. I think that year they won the tournament pretty easily. Not that it means anything, but when you go back and you look at the draw, you go, well, we won the most games, as if, so what? You lost the match. It doesn't mean anything, right? So we lost the match. These guys went on to win their, millionth doubles title. Mark says Chris Morgan was at my 4-year-old birthday party. Great guy, great family for sure.
Yeah.
And then Mark says the rip was a good choice, but he hit it too high. Needs to be at their knee or lower to work. Okay.
And I agree with that too. Obviously I doubt Lenny meant to hit the ball up that, on that second ball that
Right.
high, obviously. But I agree with you, Wags, that, had he hit a little bit more, in there near the tape lower ball, then that results in a different response, So wouldn't it be great if every ball went where we wanted it to?
It's interesting that, Lenny's had to hit a lot of shots in this point.
Yeah.
And you wonder, as the shots go on, now you've hit 2, now you've hit 3, now you've hit 4. And I just think some players, and even the great ones like Len Wofford, at some point they go, I'm sick of this baloney. What can I do to get out of this point?
Right.
And look, they won the match. I think it was 3 and 4. Who knows what the score was at this point? He might have just said, so what?
Right.
Yeah. But
and I think that, but still, there's, and even if that's the case, right, he still, I think, makes the choice to hit a ball that's well in the court,
right,
on a full rip,
right,
is better than him going for the highlight reel and try just to exit the point, letting it be where you guys don't have to touch the ball to win the point. I think that's another critical element about all the points that when we do this, we watch these doubles points is, are you making your opponent touch the ball to win the point? Or are you always looking for the exit to get out of it? And I think that's, it's a major mistake for a lot of players is, we're in a little bit of trouble. Like, well, it's time to exit. And it's like, no, you got to find a way to stay in the building. The building's not on fire. You got to find a way to stay in the building. Boom.
Boomski.
Gotta say, Brandy, your little half volley there was smooth as silk. That was textbook, baby.
Well, I think that's all from playing a lot of third base and shortstop as a kid in high school. All that you're doing is just absorbing, just letting the ball come into you. I think too often on these half volleys, I think way too often that players take this one here, and it's down at their feet, and the racket goes up. It's around their shoulder,
Right.
and they just hack straight down.
Yeah.
And to me, the half volleys here are really more about, it's about placing the racket behind where you're going to make contact. I mean, you got to read the
Yeah.
bounce a little bit, but just sticking the racket there and then just nudging your body towards the direction you want it to go. It's not
Yeah.
really a stroke. You're just kind of moving over
Mm-mm.
there.
The closer you can get your racket to the bounce of the ball, the easier the half volley becomes. No different, as you mentioned, baseball, the shortstop, third baseman, whatever. It's the short wicket hop. If the guy can get his mitt down on the ball right after it touches the turf, he it's a clean play. It's that stuff that you're not going to get there, and the ball's all of a sudden going to get up on you. That makes it kind of ugly.
So Dave's asking at the end of the point, Len right here is pulled wide, but his partner doesn't slide over. So I think what Dave's saying, if Paul slides in here, does that mean he takes away Chris's shot? Well, he takes away Chris's shot here, but now all of this is exposed.
Right.
And Chris is going to move. He's going to see this, and he's going to go here, or maybe he goes more in here. But I don't really like this whole theory of the 10-foot tether. So
I don't like it either. I don't like it either. I don't play that way.
It just makes no sense.
I like the opportunity to read the play and then make a choice. How can I corral the ball? Either play possum and then make my move just before contacting to bleed, like get the guy to read, go center, rather than me making that earlier move. And then he gets to make a choice then. Or can I corral the ball and get him to take the ball back to my partner?
Absolutely. And that's your job. Your job is,
right.
I feel like when my partner, if this is me here, if I'm Paul and my partner gets pulled wide, what I'm trying to hope with my partner is he can get a racket on it and at least get it back somewhat cross court, if not throw up a high lob. And if he can get it back cross court, then I'm positioned right here where this guy's not going to go he's not going to go up my alley. He's got to then go back to my partner who's been pulled wide.
Right. And just make, you see, and this is, I think, I play with the assumption that after my partner hits the ball, he's busting his butt to get new position, that whatever he has done, he's reacting to it. He knows how well, how poor, what he's delivered. And I'm assuming he's reacting accordingly so that I can react in a manner that is conducive to it. It ends up looking like you're connected, even though you're both making independent decisions. When you see that, it looks like this team is just moving, seamlessly from ball to ball. And that's the beauty of it, because both players are making decisions based on what their job is. And then it looks, symbiotic that way.
To me, a much better shot choice here would have been a lob. Just throw up a super high lob, and then depending on the depth, and Paul can kind of adjust his position. But look, if Paul sees right now, because he's turned, he's watched me play my volley, he sees it's going kind of wide, and he's looking to see. He's trying to see, well, now what's happening in here? What's developing? And if you go with the old coaching thing with the 10-foot tether, now you would start to move over.
Right.
And if you're telling me that takes away from what Chris does with this ball, all that it means is that you might be getting a knuckle sandwich or a fuzz sandwich or something.
Well, listen, when I know my opponents play that way, I'll bleed them for it all day long. When I know that there's a consistent movement on the other side of the court, when this guy goes there, this guy goes there. Okay, I get it. So I think, you really got to as an individual, doubles is a team game, but individually, what are you doing in terms of positioning to help your partner out in that situation? And that means, am I taking an offensive position based on the geometry of what's going on? Am I taking neutral? Am I going defense based on the reality of what's actually happening? Not
Right.
theory, not theory. And I think that's, like if you go back to the very beginning after, when Paul hits his lob after, off the return, in one shot, Paul hits this lob, and you and Chris make two adjustments on one flight of the ball, and I think that's really critical as well. I know I'm always making an adjustment. Once the ball is over on my side, I've made an adjustment, and my partners hit the ball, and now I'm making another adjustment before my opponents hit the ball. So now you've hit the ball. You already know what you've done, so you're already making the move, and Chris sees it quickly, and he moves. So now in one flight of the ball, there have been two position adjustments. And I think that's when you're tuned in then to the dynamics and the geometry of the game.
So how many times, Jeff, have you hit the lob and you feel the ball coming off your racket? Where is this thing? Oh, here it is. All right. So you come in here and you feel it right here. And you go,
yeah.
Oh, baby. I couldn't have. That's the best lob I've ever hit. And that all you have to do now is turn to see, is Len going to try to take this on the fly? And then as soon as you see he's kind of going, oh, crap, and he's starting to back up. And I just want you to know that, because I felt it and now I'm starting to move in right here.
Right.
I think I told, who knows? But how many times have you done this and you tell your partner, we're going in, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Guys, any more questions, any more comments? Just fill up the chat box right now. If there's nothing else, then I'm going to let Jeff go round up some horses there and buck some Broncos in Modesto, California, the heart of the San Joaquin Valley.
Yeah, it was a little toasty yesterday.
I'll bet it was.
It was nice. And of course, no match for the 120 it was down in Palm Desert, but
that's true. Yeah, I texted Owen, I think it was last night, at about 9:30, and it was 108. I just went,
a balmy 108.
I went, really? 108? I didn't hear back from him. Probably took his phone and threw it away.
That is playing tennis on the sun.
Oh, man. Well, look. No, 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
9:30 at night.
I got that, yeah.
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 So,
no bueno.
Okay, guys. Here it is. Best volley of my life. Anyway. All right, guys.
So I'll say this too, because I'm going to say one more thing here as we do these things. And I think it's important too, when we talk about shot selection and what should we do with the ball and where should he hit it, is that, do you know your own skill set? And this is something we talked about, almost daily on the Gold Ball hunting podcast, is that in order to create a successful strategy against the other team, one, I need to know, kind of strengths and weaknesses of what they do. And their habits and kind of nuances, things like that. But also I need to know my own skill set, and I need to know, how do I use my forehand? I know I can do X, Y, and Z with my forehand, and you've got to know what choice you have in certain situations that allow you to be the most effective, instead of like, this is a kind of a stressful situation. Maybe I should try the hippie, the wingy something shot, the little slider doo-ha. And it's something that is just not in your wheelhouse. And so I always I get most, let's say frustrated with myself or irritated with myself when I go for a ball that's not in my wheelhouse. I attempt something that really isn't something that I do normally or I'm very comfortable with. And it's like, God, you know, stick with what you know and find the answer that way. And I think a lot of players, you know, in doubles as they improve or as they're going along are trying to play like theory tennis, and yet they don't have a skill set that actually matches the theory.
Right.
You know, math formulas
That's
only
right.
work. Math formulas only work when you have put in the right numbers. And so it's silly to be trying to do something, especially in a tournament match, of something that you don't know how to do, you're not confident with, you never tried it before. Get out there and work on things, new shots, and perfecting what you can do so that they become more effective.
So I think the doc brings up a good point here. The varied skill set of players to keep such a point going that long. And now as he said that, and you were talking, Jeff,
Right.
it is, there's only two shots really in this point where I think it was an attempt to end the point. So I missed my first serve. My second serve is, I'm assuming the ball is coming back. All right. I'm missing the first serve. So I'm assuming the ball is coming back here, right? So I'm not trying to, with a second serve, do anything other than something within my skill set. I think Paul's hitting this lob, but he's not trying to attempt a lob winner.
Nope.
He's simply trying to get court position for the next shot.
Yeah.
Right? That's all he's doing. This shot right here, I'm not trying to hit a winner. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not trying to hit a topper winner. I'm just trying to defensively, can we buy some time and back these guys off the net, right? Which happens. Is Len Wofford trying to hit a winner off of this? No. Is Chris?
No, I think it's exactly what you said, where he's trying to pull the ball off the fence back there, which is why he ends up hitting, you know, an overhead from that.
So
position.
There's a very defensive shot. Chris plays a defensive shot. He's not trying to hit a winner. Lenny comes in, and he's not trying to winner. He's trying to hit a lob. He's trying to get it over us, right? Obviously, with the infinitesimally small jump, I'm not trying to hit a winner. I'm actually trying to, can I get up and maybe put the brakes on so I can maintain the net position that we've got? You know, is Lenny trying to hit a winner? No, he's not. Now, here's the one shot, or one of the two, where maybe, I don't remember, but maybe I was trying to put the ball away over into this alley.
Right.
Not what I'd call a shot from the Mensa Society, if you know what I mean.
Well, and part of it too is like, you know, Paul is 4 feet behind the service line. You're 2 to 3 feet behind your service line. We just do the math there in terms of distance, right? We got 20, 40, probably got about 45 feet between the two of you. Very difficult to hit the ball hard enough from that distance, from that play to just like knock it off for a winner.
Okay. Well,
really tough.
So I'm saying I didn't hit this volley there so I could have to play
right.
a tricky half volley pickup approach. Right.
That wasn't your evil plan.
No. So Paul's not trying to hit a winner. Obviously,
Right.
I'm not trying to hit a winner here. I don't think Lenny's trying to hit a winner, maybe other than just trying to rip it. But he's assuming there's a good chance it's coming back, right? Chris doing nothing more than staying in the point. Len might be thinking, well, I'm gonna go up the middle hard, but Len Wofford knows there's a really good chance this ball is coming back. And so again, I'm trying to play the volley over there. Nothing more, just trying to maybe stretch these guys out. Len gets stretched out, and he's not trying to hit a winner. Here's the only clear winner attempt of this point.
Right.
Intentional. This ball ain't coming back, boys. That's it.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't count up how many shots that we just went through, but 10, 9, 10.
Right.
Only one, there was a clear intention to end the point. And I think the difference between the top senior players in any age group is their willingness to be content to stay in the point, knowing that if I've got good court position and I don't hit a shot that really gives them an opportunity, then I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. And in fact, if I've got good court position and they don't have a clear offensive shot opportunity, lots of players who aren't in the top are going to be thinking, I got to get out of this point somehow because those guys got good court position. I don't have a clear thing.
Right.
I better go for it. What happens? I mean, how many times do we win points, Jeff, where it's not a put away here? It's like it's an unforced error. I mean, someone's forced
Right.
themselves. Someone's
Right.
forced themselves into an unforced error.
Right.
So that's kind of the long and drawn out rant on be content to stay in the point, you know, and I keep going back to the great Dick Johnson and his whole thing about, well, look, my job's just to get the ball over there. I'm assuming no matter how well I hit it, it's coming back. And I'm okay with that. And then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, it's like this weird thing. You know, I hit a ball across the net, and for some reason, the guy is always trying to run it down. You know, so if we can get past that when you play, even in the winner attempt category, it's hitting, and like my assumption is the other somebody on the other side of the net is going to try and run it down. So stay mentally. It's this, you know, that's what a good finisher of a point is that they've hit a ball and then you see them just go to the next place they're supposed to go to anyway, and they're looking, and then finally nobody shows up to hit it back. Okay, that's a winner. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Well, Robin said if my last volley had been 5 feet shorter, Len would have still been in the point, but it got behind him. Okay. But I don't think that the point obviously would have been different. If I played my volley a little bit shorter or a little bit more in the middle, sure, it would have been a different point. But it goes back to that thing. Chris and I have got great court position still. And if that means it's going to come back again, well, then we'll just keep probing and looking and waiting for an opportunity rather than thinking, I got to do something great. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, that is kind of it, I think, for us today. Jeff, anything else on your mind today? What else is going on there? What do you got on tap this week, man?
I got some coaching on Wednesday and Friday with some of our gold ballers, and I got play tomorrow, doubles tomorrow and doubles on Thursday. So
now you mentioned that you played some great doubles. Oh yeah, that's right, with the Paneros. With who was the fourth? Was that Mark Nicholson or Mark Ware?
Nicholson, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually yesterday, John and I played Dean and Nick. Yeah. Just a good old time.
That's fun. That's great. That's great.
And then actually this last week, Wednesday night, we played. We did the first grass court exhibition of the season here at Del Rio. They have one grass court that they maintain for the summer season, and so we had, with proper social distancing and spacing, we probably had 100, 150 people come out. Bar cart out, and everybody kind of spaced around the court. It was fun. We played split sets and then played a breaker for the third. And
well, of course you split sets. It was a sort of
how does that happen?
Kind of an exhibition, right?
Yeah, total exhibition. It was great. Just had a blast. And you know me on grass, it's just just
right.
And I got to say, talking about ESPN highlight shots, I did have the play of the night. Crossing over, had to go around the back volley, and then the opponent hit the angle, and so then I had to go full on Superman dive, make the ball back into the court. We ended up losing the point, but I got the highlight reel of the night.
But you got the highlight of the night. Why does that not surprise me? If someone's going to have the highlight shot, it's going to be Jeff Jackledge. That's cool. Anyway, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, good for you guys.
Oh, so much fun. So much fun. Yeah. Beautiful evening here. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, any more questions? Just go ahead and fire them off to Brent@webtennis.com. You can find me on Facebook under Web Tennis. You can send them to Boris Becker over at Jeff. Hold on, that's a sneeze here. Excuse me. Yeah, you can send them to Boris Becker at Jeff at Jacklets365.com.
Yep.
Yep. All that good stuff. Okay, guys. Stay safe. I understand lots of cities, states even, are starting to go back into total lockdown. Talked to Dennis Ralston this morning, or actually he and I were texting, and his club is now fully back on lockdown in Austin, Texas. So guys, stay safe. Really, this thing is not over. And let's see if we can, do whatever we have to do to not get sick. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. As always, get out there today. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff, thanks so much for your time, man.
You're welcome. Can't wait to do it again.
Jeez. I tried to. You want to try this one more time? Jeff, thanks so much for your time today, man. No, wait. See, what was that? I screwed that up.
You see?
I know. All right, guys, get out there. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait. Boom.
See you guys. Bye.